I was a vice principal at a school, but then was let go for no good reason other than for the school district to save some money. This is the story of how a former vice principal systematically broke down the system and got my ultimate revenge, giving the finger to this corrupted system and dismantling the entire process along the way. This story is broken into a few parts. The first two are to give some backstory, but part 3 is where the revenge begins. In the end, they all come groveling back to me begging, but you'll see how that plays out. Here's how it all went down. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. This happened at the end of this school year. I posted what was going on in a teacher group and a bunch of people told me to post the whole thing, so this story is in 4 parts. Basically, I was told that all of the assistants / vice principals in the district, other than at the high school, were being let go, and a quote, teacher on assignment, a TOA, was going to take our jobs. I was not heartbroken over this, but was treated badly by the new admin team taking my job and my principal's job too. Also, I tried to help my staff on my way out, and it seems my bosses cared more about their images than my staff's happiness. So here's the story. Part 1. So none of the other admin in my district had received our contracts for the coming school year yet. I was wondering what was going on, but I heard rumors about a pay scale shift, and that was the reason for it. I found out Wednesday what is actually happening. Every assistant principal and vice principal in the district, why we have 2 different titles, I have no idea, is not getting renewed contracts except for the ones at the high school. Their positions are being eliminated and their jobs are being replaced with a new position that pays teacher a salary plus a $2,000 stipend. They are replacing the APs with learning coordinators. Apparently the budget is the given reason, but I also heard rumors from someone at the district office. Each of us assistant principals and vice principals were scheduled to meet with one of the assistant supers on Wednesday. We thought it was about our contracts and we were correct. When I arrived, the acting superintendent was there with the head of HR, human resources. I was told about the elimination of my position, but not the reasons why. I was then given an option for the coming school year. I could go back into the classroom, I could work in the district office, or I could apply and interview for the new positions that are replacing my job. What the heck? I wouldn't care one lick if I was told my position had been cut completely and that I needed to go back into the classroom. I love the classroom. I miss teaching full time. However, to tell me to apply and interview for a job I already have is nonsense. We were told to give the district our answers by Friday and they would draw up contracts or schedule interviews. Wednesday afternoon, I went to see Tony, who was an assistant superintendent and one of the few decent leaders in the school district. I heard from Tony that there was an internal shakeup, but he wasn't allowed to talk about it or even give me a hint about what happened. However, one of the assistant supers was being reassigned, aka demoted, to being principal of my current school. My principal was not coming back due to health reasons. The superintendent was, quote, released from his contract, and my school's new learning coordinator position had already been filled. Who filled it? A school counselor from one of the high schools who just happened to be a friend and a lackey of the assistant superintendent that is now the new principal. So, early this morning I gave them my answer. I decided that I didn't need until Friday to decide. I tried to make sure I sounded professional, but I made sure that my message was getting across by speaking with authority. I went into the acting superintendent's office and told him that I thought laying off a bunch of people so they could hire others to do the same job but at less pay was total BS. I told him that the way the school district handled certain situations was idiotic. I then gave several examples. I next told him that he was going to ruin a perfectly good school with an amazing team of educators by putting a lazy, mean, parents-pleasing person as its new principal and letting her put a lackey in as her second in command. I said that she was as useless as a screen door on a submarine and as mean as Dolores Umbridge. I finished the 3-minute speech by stating that I will work my butt off to finish the school year strong. I will prep for the next school year so that the teachers have an easier time. I also let him know that I would never work at or recommend the district to anyone ever again. Then I left letting him know that I expect an amazing letter of recommendation by the end of the school day Friday afternoon since I earned it for my service the past few years. So what am I going to do now? I called up an old friend on Wednesday who is currently a principal at a STEAM charter school, which stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. And this school is a part of a chain of charter STEAM schools, and asked if he had a teaching position available. He's been asking me every year for the past 5 years teachers to come work for him. He told me he had 3 openings and I could have my pick of them. So next year I will be, drumroll please, a 6th grade teacher, and I am very happy about it. I even get to design my own curriculum as long as it meets state standards. I could apply elsewhere for admin positions, but I think I need a break from school leadership. I need to love my work again like I used to as a teacher. Yes, there were many challenges, and sometimes I hated going to work, but I do love being a teacher. I feel bad for my current staff because the regime change will hit them hard, but there's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could help them. The most I could do would be to take a teaching position in my current school, but then I would be miserable with them and be helpless to do anything to aid them. So, for myself and my daughter, who I love more than anything, I am making the move to a new school and going back to what I enjoy doing, teaching. I'm even bringing my daughter to my new school to start next year as a 5th grader. I asked her if she wanted to stay at her current school or go to the STEAM school with me, and she wants to go with me. She was excited since she has visited there several times and loves the technology room, the robotics class, and the science labs. Plus, she is friends with some of the kids there already. As a goodbye to my staff, I am going out this weekend and I'm going to buy some nice letter paper and scratcher tickets. I am going to write short, individualized goodbyes to each of my staff members, and at the end I will include the following words. I'm giving you some scratcher tickets. My hope is that you are as lucky scratching them as I have been lucky to have worked with you. I have to finish my contract, but at the end of June I am free. I'm looking forward to teaching full-time again and having a boss who will let me do my job and not interfere. I don't think I want to work in administration again. Part 2, the revenge. So I put together goodbye gifts for all my staff and I'll be handing them out Friday, their last day with kids. They have a bunch of goodies that I posted about before. I thought this weekend about how to give the finger one more time to the district office and help my teachers out, even in a small way. So I came up with it on Sunday night, the revenge. My district requires each teacher to attend additional training throughout the year. These are outside of the regular staff development trainings. They are run by district staff, SPED teachers, and admin. The training normally lasts 1 to 3 hours and the teacher gets a certificate for the time spent in the training. Each teacher is required to attend 24 hours of these before the end of the school year. Most teachers take them over the summer if they are offered, so they don't have to take them during the school year. So, yesterday morning, before work, I was making copies of the certificates for all the courses I have run in the past years: classroom management strategies, lockdown procedures, social studies strategies, math strategies, reading comprehension, and environmental print. I am going to fill them out with each of the teacher's name and the number of hours. I am adding all the times I ever spoke to the staff about these topics and putting down hours to correspond, rounding up to the nearest hour-ish. And wouldn't you know, each of these topics was 3 to 5 hours in length. Each staff member will have exactly 24 hours worth of training. I filled out all of the dates of the training for the 2022 and 2023 school year. Oh, and I have an attendance sheet with all of their names and have them marked as being present. I check with the district since I am still an administrator into the summer. I am allowed to run these trainings over the summer before I leave. Now, they can have their summer to themselves and not worry about taking classes during the school year. They can if they wish, but 99% of teachers here hate the mandatory training hours. I hope the staff likes the present. Part 3. Since Friday, I am no longer a school administrator. I technically have another week to work, but I took a vacation during that time because, well, screw them. Now I spent the last week packing up, giving aid and comfort to my now former staff, and causing problems for the new administrators who are total jerks. Now, besides giving the entire staff a free year from additional PDs, I wasn't planning on causing any more problems, just quietly leaving and driving off into the sunset, Shane style. But no, apparently I don't deserve a quiet week. The new principal demoted from assistant superintendent and her new teacher on assignment, TOA, decided for some reason to be rude to me. There was only one response to that. I aimed to misbehave. How were they rude, you ask? First off, they ordered me to hurry and clean out my office. Apparently, the TOA, teacher on assignment, wanted to start redecorating my office. I was literally told, quote,
"Get all your personal stuff out of here ASAP. She wants her office now."
I still had a week to work there and actual work to do. Second, the new principal tried to steal my personal chair, my personal office supplies, and decorations. That chair was a gift to me from a friend. I found her just wheeling it out of my office and into hers. My desk supplies and banner for my wall were stacked on its seat. I told her that it was my personal chair, not the district's. She said, "Okay." The very next morning, I found it missing. She had moved it into her office after I left for the day. Third, I was given a list of tasks to complete by Friday Friday by the teacher on assignment, who is in no way, shape, or form my boss. These were not my job to do and are in fact the incoming administration's duty to complete. Stuff the new admin are supposed to do. Things like putting together a new staff packet, schedule next year's PDs, fill out and submit request forms, etc. Finally, I was talked down to every single day by the new admin team. I was spoken to as though I were the hired help and they were the royal bees. Seriously, I speak to a waitress that messes up my order with 20 times the amount of respect that they showed me. They actually tried to get my attention by snapping their fingers at me, like that would work. The new principal also made some pretty anti-LGBTQ+ comments. I don't like narrow-minded people, so I decided to do as I was told. I was a soldier, so I know how to follow orders. First off, I removed everything that was my personal property. That included my chairs, decorations, the stress relievers, punching bag, etc., the fridge from the office, the filing cabinets from my office. Yes, I bought government surplus cabinets because I didn't have any. All my files and all of my former principal's files were in there. I even bought the manila folder that I used in it. So I took every piece of paper out of my cabinets, removed them from my labeled folders, stacked them on the floor into one large pile. There was no order to how they are stacked. I took my chair from the principal's office while she was in a meeting with parents. I just walked in and rolled it out. She stopped talking to the parents to ask what I was doing, and I responded that I was taking my personal property out ASAP as I was ordered to do. I had an old medium-sized fridge I had placed in the office workroom for the office staff to store their food in, but it's mine. So I took the fridge, I brought it right out the front door and loaded it into my truck. I even took the new admin's food out of it and left it on the table. It's my fridge. I warned the rest of the office I was taking it, but forgot to tell the admin. Darn. I copied all of my digital files onto a flash drive and then deleted everything off my work Google Drive. Anything I personally created or designed. I copied all my emails too. I informed the staff that if they needed time off next year and needed it approved, to submit the forms to me this week. I got several and they are now all approved. I got this idea from someone who messaged me here and suggested that I do this. Thanks for the advice. I approved every supply list item the staff submitted and even drove to the district warehouse to pick up some items personally. I even approved funds for a second-hand kiln for the art teacher. She found a good one on Craigslist. I had repaired my desk with bolts and tools from home, so I took the bolts back. The desk is now lopsided again. The closet door was broken when I got there, so I repaired it. I have now put it back as it was when I was hired. There was a two-way mirror to the detention room, which was mine. I had gotten it from a friend at another school, a different district. It allowed me to watch ISS and detention students from my office without them seeing me. I popped that right out and took it home. Now, the TOA has a hole in the wall so the detention kids can look through. I had put together all the lockdown buckets and fire drill bags myself with my own money. I took all of them back. This I felt bad about, but I will give them out to the staff in my new school. I put a rush order on all classroom and building repairs and have approved every order to have all the classrooms repainted. I assembled new staff packets and the new school year binders. Besides the basics of what was required, I have included throughout the binders in random places Dilbert cartoons, famous Harry Potter quotes, the lyrics to Nickelback's How You Remind Me, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, All Star by Smash Mouth, and We Built This City by Starship. A map of the area where I marked all the good places to eat lunch off campus, funny Far Side teacher comics, cheesy teacher jokes, the union contact information, crossword, Sudoku, word searches, a list of educational lawyers, just in case. I also included in the binder the admin Wi-Fi password for them, since that signal is stronger for some reason. I went ahead and wrote out the PD schedule for next year. Oddly, every Wednesday is listed as free time or work in your classroom. I'm sure they'll change it, but I don't know when they will find out what it says. I had a master list of donators and partners in the community. It was posted on a whiteboard in my office. I got over 4 dozen businesses and people in my community to help with various things or donate over the years. I spent a lot of my time building relationships with them and making deals. I took a photo of it and then erased the list. And I took the whiteboard with me since it was mine. On Friday, I flew the LGBTQ+ flag instead of the state flag. I also placed LGBTQ flags in each classroom in case the staff wanted to display them. Then I got yelled at 3 times. The first time was when I took back my chair. I was told it was unprofessional just to take it without asking, especially with guests present. I responded with, yes, it was unprofessional to take my chair without asking. The second time I got yelled at was when the TOA found the refrigerator gone. She said that it was community property. I told her, no, it's my property and I was told to take all of my property from the campus. The third time I got yelled at was when I was in the parking lot leaving and they found the piles of papers. The principal flagged me down and told me to clean it up. I told her I was off the clock and that the district never reimbursed me for the cabinets, so I had to take them with me. I am expecting a call from Human Resources today asking for my assistance in setting everything back up, since with all my stuff removed and erased, the admin team actually has to put in some hard work. I told them I would come in, but for my consultant rate, $75 an hour with a minimum contract of 12 hours. Part 4, the final chapter. So as you know, I left the world of being an administrator a few weeks ago. I tried to leave behind some nice gifts when I left. I wasn't looking to cause any problems my last few weeks, but the new admin team treated me in a way that was unacceptable. So I decided that Malcolm Reynolds had it right when he said, quote, "I aim to misbehave." Well, the Tuesday after I left, I received a call from Human Resources. I ignored it. I then left for a road trip with my daughter where we went to San Francisco for a few days and went to 2 Giants games. Unfortunately, they lost both games. While we were on our trip, they called and emailed me in my personal email account. My work one was deleted by them. I ignored the calls and never opened the emails. My daughter and I then went to Disneyland for a few days and then returned this past Friday. I checked the voicemails and the emails. I was asked, begged, and then ordered to come to the Human Resources for important meetings. They said, "It is very important that we speak to you as soon as possible." They said this repeatedly. So yesterday I went to the district office wearing cargo shirts, a shirt that I got from Disneyland, and flip-flops. I didn't work there, so I didn't need to dress up. When I arrived, I was originally treated like a visiting VIP. The HR manager, Human Resources manager, and her assistant tried to butter me up like a Pillsbury biscuit. After a few minutes of them trying to make small talk and me letting them know that I had plans to go to lunch in 30 minutes, they got to the point. They wanted me to turn over a few things that I took with me, though they belonged to me, they said were sorely needed at the school. They gave me a list from the new principal which included my chair, seriously, my refrigerator and appliances, my community contact board, people and businesses that I built relationships and partnerships with, my personally designed forms and worksheets, my two-way mirror, my lockdown buckets and fire drill bags. They also wanted copies of every record I kept and notes I took on the staff and the students. The notes I took on the staff were so I can personalize gifts for them and have conversations with them on their interests. I said no to all of those requests. I told the ladies that the furniture and appliances were mine, that I brought in. I stated that the chair was a gift to me from a friend and the principal can afford to buy her own chair. I also stated that I left any official school/district documents there, and any that I took with me and or deleted were of my own making and my intellectual property. I also stated that my contacts were developed over the years on my personal time and at personal cost to me. I also stated that everything I took that I had submitted reimbursement for was never reimbursed. So I kept my records and my pay stubs. I never saw a red cent from those submissions. They offered to pay me for some of these items and gave me a rough figure of what the district would pay me to return the fridge, the forms, the buckets, the bags, the mirror, and the contact board. I told them that I did not want to hand them over to the new admin team since they had treated me so poorly. They asked me again and tried to reason that some of these things could be interpreted as school property. I told them that they were welcome to try and force me to return anything that was legally mine to them, but I would be willing to fight it in court. I also told them that those 2 new administrators made me uncomfortable and that their treatment of me could be considered making a hostile work environment, especially when they tried to make me do their jobs for them. I then gave the Human Resources team my lawyer's information. I then wished the lady a good school year in the term to come and left. I doubt I will ever hear from them again. So am I the jerk for the way that I crippled this school after what they did to me? You would think that with all the money they saved by firing everyone and hiring the teacher on assignments and all of the replacement hires that were significantly less in terms of the cost of their salary, that they would be flush with cash, that they would be able to buy all of these things and wouldn't have to beg the original poster here to bring everything back or else risk falling completely apart. I know a lot of school districts, especially in the United States, are horrible. They are drastically underfunded and there's some crazy bureaucratic red tape on everything that prevents things from actually getting done. And that's obviously not the fault of the teachers. They are usually doing the best they possibly can. I mean, even in this story, she is going out of her way to buy all of these things with her own money for the benefit of who? For the benefit of the kids that she's teaching. Otherwise, why would she spend all this money? It's not for her own personal enjoyment. I mean, obviously that's what it all leads to, is trying to help these kids out because there's not enough funding. So so they claim, from the district to pay the teachers. It really does put the teachers in an unfair position most of the time. And clearly not every district is this bad. There are probably some really great ones out there, but you tend to hear a lot about these really horrible scenarios because situations like this are so extreme that what other choice do people have? It seems like the original poster here is a really sweet and thoughtful person. I mean, she's even giving personalized letters after she was the one who was forced out of her job and stating how lucky she was to be able to work with them and even giving them this scratch-off lottery ticket as kind of a symbolic gesture. It's just always a little strange when people try to save money on the thing that is the engine to making this entire thing work. And I think a lot of times it's probably because they're so removed from the process, they have no concept of how it works on a day-to-day basis anyway. In this case, we're talking about the school, but even in the case of a business or something, if they've never worked at that level, they probably don't know what the core value is, which is kind of like the same thing as a rich politician who's been rich his whole life, writing off a bunch of people because they're poor and he can't understand what that even means. Anyway, let me know how you see this down below, and jerk or not a jerk, and why. Don't forget also to click on the YouTube channel to check out the newest YouTube shorts. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories in this series, use the playlist at the top of the description. And next time you live stream, use the cream of the crop music. Search for Cream of the Stream on Spotify or whatever music platform you use for copyright-free music to use for your stream. It's free. Cream of the Stream. Either way, thanks a lot for listening. We'll see you guys next time.